Welcome to Recovering with Becca, an old school drinker who woke up in her 50s only to discover there is life after the bottle. I'm your host, Becca Jacobson, and this is one girl's opinion on why we should get sober and how to do it. I offer short, daily inspirations for 45-plus professional women who are searching for a solution to uncontrolled drinking. If you're undecided, I'm here to convince you to take the leap, and I'm here to help you along the way. Listen, gals, we've wasted enough time, so join me and my group of amazing women on the thrilling road to recovery. Hello, gals. Thanks for joining me. I have a story to tell you today, a story from my life and a recent experience I had. I have a stepsister who's her dad married my mom when we were under 10. So she's been in my life a long time, and she has a rare disease. Less than 1% of the world population has this disease. It runs in her family, and it's I honestly I can't remember the name of it. I could have found out, but it just didn't seem important for this podcast. It's not the point of the story. This disease runs through the family and only the women get it. It's similar to MS. So what happens when you have this is your body slowly shuts down. Your muscle, you can't, you lose the ability to talk clearly. Slowly, your speech gets less and less, understandable. You eventually you can't walk, you can't, your muscles go, and but you're able to think clearly. So it's basically you're trapped in a body that slowly shuts down. And so my 2 years younger than me stepsister has this, and she was diagnosed in her 30s. She's now in her mid 50s, and she keeps in touch with me. And, she got a hold of me a few weeks ago, and she's feeling very, struggling with this, living with this disease. And she's always been a very positive, upbeat woman. And I've always been very, very impressed, very proud of her for her, her approach to this. It's a raw deal, right? How would you feel to have that? And she's always had a very, very positive attitude, and I've always been very impressed by that. In fact, almost to the point I thought, wow, I've never heard her ever complain. True, what's the point of complaining? But never. Even, I remember when she was diagnosed, because not every woman in her family gets it, right? So it's kind of the luck of the draw. For example, her sister doesn't have it. Anyway, she got a hold of me about a month ago, very upset, to let me know that she wanted me to know that she's feeling very depressed about this. And my thought was, well, I'm not surprised, right? It would be very easy to get depressed. We need help to deal with such difficulties. And I was honored that she called me. She wanted me, just wanted to talk. And so it occurred to me that we don't spend much time together. And so I said to her, let's have a girls' weekend out. Just the two of us. We'll get an Airbnb and we'll just spend the weekend together. You leave your husband at home, I'll leave mine at home, and we will just spend the time, just you and I. We live 5 hours apart, but we practically never, years go by and we don't see each other. And she was just thrilled by this idea. And so her husband drove her to the Airbnb, and I drove myself and met her there, and he dropped her off because she doesn't drive anymore. And we spent the weekend together last weekend. Now, here's the point of this story. I really struggled to spend the weekend in this little cabin, this beautiful little cabin that we rented, Airbnb, and not being able to go for a hike. It's a very small, beautiful town in the mountains with hiking trails all around it, and we couldn't go hiking. She can't hike. She has a walker. She can walk, but she needs a walker to help her because she's not stable. And spending the weekend with her was really eye-opening for me to think about how easy it is to take for granted just the body that I'm able to walk around in. We have so much to be grateful for. She does too. She has a partner who loves her. She has she has children and grandchildren who love her. She has much to be grateful for, but she does not have a body like mine that she can just get up and use and walk around in and use to do things like go for hikes. I'm an avid hiker, so that's why I keep referring to that. But whatever it is that you use your body for, are you grateful for it? And do you take it for granted? It really reminded me to be grateful for this body that I have and to look after it. I do, though. I didn't. I abused my body for over 30 years, and it's a miracle that I came out as healthy as I did. Getting sober at 53, I had some physical problems, but the body is so resilient. Alcohol did some damage to my body, but it's in the 5 years I've had of not drinking, much of that is healed, and I do look after my body. I don't abuse it anymore, but I did, and I just wanted to remind you to be grateful for the little things. I know it sounds like a cliche, but come on, let's just remember the smallest things are worth being grateful for. The fact that you can put one foot in front of the other and your body moves. I'm assuming yours does. And if yours doesn't, or you have physical ailments, I'd like to remind you today as well to be grateful for the things that you do have, the people that in your life that love you. And if you're running away, using alcohol to run away, I understand that. I really do. I spent so much of my life running away in fear. And I want to remind you today that facing our fears is never as difficult as thinking about facing them. It's the anticipation is always worse than the reality. So I guess the moral of this story is not as clear cut as I kind of imagined when I started talking. It's about gratitude. It's also about giving some of our time to others. It just felt such a privilege to just drop things. I have a lot going on in my life, right? I've got you guys in my life, you gals, and the women in my world that I look after, but I still have my job. I'm a college professor. I have a lot going on. And I just thought, whatever. I'm dropping everything, and I'm going to spend some time with this woman who's in my life and been in my life since we were under 10. The cabin we were in had no Wi-Fi. We were disconnected. We didn't use our phones. And it felt good to just disconnect and just sit there and talk to each other, right? I taught her how to knit. I'm a knitter. She said, I love to learn how to knit. Will you teach me? And I did. So we spent the weekend learning how to knit. It was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So the moral of the story, I don't know, take from it what you want. Gratitude, giving time to others. There's so much in this that I hope is inspiring. And I hope that it inspired you in one way or another, because I think there's a lot that we could take from it. But that's just an experience I had recently, and I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for the experience, the opportunity, and that I could send some love out to somebody who really needs it. A very powerful, strong woman in my life who's facing difficulties with all the strength that she can muster, and she has a lot of it, and I'm very proud of her. And no, I didn't tell her about my podcast. I just didn't bother telling her. She doesn't know that I have this podcast. Not that it's a secret. I just didn't want to put up any barriers between us. I just wanted to be her sister. That's it. And that's all I want, to just be her sister. She may find it one day. We'll see. Doesn't matter. There it is, gals. Thanks so much for listening today and letting me share that with you. It's a privilege, as always. Sending you love, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye for now. Thanks for joining me. If you know someone in need of inspiration, don't forget to share and make sure you're following and subscribed so that we can get together every day for short inspirations. Let's make this happen. Bye for now.